Hello, and welcome to Worship at Home on this Sunday, the 2nd of May, or whenever you're able to watch this message. Our reading today comes from John chapter 15, verses 1 to 8, and I'll share those verses with you. Jesus said, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine grower. He removes every branch in me that bears no fruit. Every branch that bears fruit he prunes, to make it bear more fruit. You have already been cleansed by the word that I have spoken to you. Abide in me, as I abide in you. Just as the branch cannot bear fruit by itself, unless it abides in the vine, neither can you, unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who abide in me, and I in them, bear much fruit, because apart from me you could do nothing. Whoever does not abide in me is thrown away like a branch, and withers. Such branches are gathered, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you abide in me, and my words abide in you, ask for whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. My Father is glorified by this, that you bear much fruit and become my disciples." I want to share two thoughts, particularly from that reading. One focuses on the vine, and the other focuses on abiding in Jesus. I've never owned a grapevine, but I always remember watching my dad prune raspberries in the large garden that we grew up in, and he did it with the greatest of care and the greatest of respect. And then I would stand back and look mystified at that little clump of sticks and wonder how that would ever result in the wonderful and precious fruit that we enjoyed as children. And his work always bore fruit, and in time, of course, those little clump of sticks produced delicious fruit. Jesus said, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful." There's no doubt that the purpose of the vine is to grow fruit, not wood or branches. And in order for that fruit to grow, pruning needs to take place, or as Jesus describes it, cleansing. And there are in every one of us things which need pruning or cleansing. What might those things be for you, and what might they be for me? Could it be a sense of self-importance, or perhaps a low sense of our own worth in God's eyes? Might it be a low expectation of what God can do? Could it be something between an individual, something between myself and another person, which I know needs healing? And as we think about our churches, what is there in our churches that prevents the fruit from growing? Have we been too busy? Is there not enough prayer in the life of our church? Is it the wrong sort of busyness? Are we slaves to getting things just right? Is it what needs pruning? Is it about our over-concern for the size of the churches at the expense of spiritual depth? Let's allow God to prune and cleanse so that those fruits which he desires to be grown in his world can develop in us. Fruits such as love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Let's think then about another theme that runs through that reading, that theme of abiding in Jesus. Watchman Nee was a great Christian whose life God worked through in many wonderful ways. He spent 20 years of his life in prison because of his belief in God. One day after his release, he was sitting in a cafe with a friend, and his friend asked him, "Watchman Nee, what does it mean for Jesus to abide in me?" Watchman Nee picked up the spoon on the table in front of him and tipped a spoonful of sugar into his cup of tea. He stirred it very slowly until it had all dissolved. And then he pushed the cup of tea over to his friend and said, "Now then, see if you can take the sugar out of the tea." "You cannot take the sugar out of the tea," his friend said. "That's how close Jesus wants to be with you," said Watchman Nee. "So close that he wants to change the whole flavour of your life." Jesus says to each one of us, "I want to abide in you. It is my desire to do this. God sent me into the world for this purpose. Therefore, live the lives God asks of you so that I can continue to abide in you."